Hey guys, doing another video. This is going to be my NFL Week 7 picks. Uh, there's quite a few teams on the bye this week, and it's not the greatest uh, caliber of matches this week of the season, but it's still obviously going to be a good week. So yeah, the Thursday night game is tomorrow because I'm doing this video today, which is Wednesday. So tomorrow's game is Seattle at San Francisco, which I mean, before the season, you would have predicted this match without any trouble going with Seattle. Both teams are 2-4, and what's happened to the Seahawks this year? One, I'm glad because I don't particularly like them. But two, just I'm really surprised because if you look at, even though the Pats won the Super Bowl last year, the Seahawks were still arguably in a lot of people's eyes the best team of the season. So, and then when you look at the off-season players they got in, like Jimmy Graham, it just looked like they would be such a tough team to stop, considering you've got Marshawn Lynch running the ball and now you've got Jimmy Graham in the passing attack, that it would just be insanely good. But hasn't worked out that way. There's been a lot of issues with their defense, which is surprising. And although both teams are 2-4, Seattle is still clearly the better team than San Francisco. So with that, I'm going with the Seahawks to win in San Francisco. And then obviously the 6 o'clock games here in American time. It's 1 o'clock. There's Buffalo at Jacksonville. That's actually the early game, the Wembley game, the second Wembley game of the season. So that's going to be good. It's Buffalo are 3-3 and Jacksonville are 1-5. I actually think Jacksonville, well, I wouldn't say they're a good team, but they're a lot better than they have been the last 2 or 3 seasons. Even though their record is similar to what they've been getting the last few years, starting 1-5. It doesn't look good at all. But I've watched them a couple of times, this season. They do seem to have a lot of really good upcoming players, like Allen Robinson and Alan Hurns, two of their young wide receivers who I think are going to be amazing in the NFL. Especially Allen Robinson, who's 6'5", I think. And Blake Bortles is looking good as well. I just think they're a lot better than they have been the last few years, even though their record looks exactly the same. But I'm going to go with Buffalo to win this because their defense is, it's legitimately amazing. It's just, there's not really any doubts to it. I mean, they do have a couple games here and there where they don't particularly look amazing, but for the most part, they do look really good. So I'm going to go with the Bills there, unfortunately. Tampa Bay at Washington. Washington's 2-4, Tampa Bay 2-3. Honestly, who cares about this? Two really bad teams, but I think Washington will win just because they're at home. To be honest, yeah, I don't really have much to say about that. Atlanta at Tennessee. Tennessee are 1-4. Atlanta 5-1. Atlanta are gonna win. Simple. Matt Ryan is a beast. Julio Jones, even more of a beast. Dan Quinn has really impressed me as a head coach. So yeah, I think the Falcons will win that easily. Then New Orleans at Indianapolis. A couple of years ago, this would have been an amazing match, but the Colts this year don't look good. Yes, and the Saints really don't look good either. Saints are 2-4, Indianapolis 3-3. I think I'll go with the Colts to win this. To be honest, at home. I just don't really have any confidence in the Saints, so I'll go with the Colts there to get another win. Minnesota at Detroit. Vikings are 3-2, and to be fair, they've really impressed me this year. And the Lions are 1-5. Just got their first win against the Bears this past weekend, because they were the only team left the only winless team left. But they got that win, even though it's in Detroit, and they got a win last weekend. I think the Vikings will win. They're a much better team at this point. I don't know what it is with Detroit. Their offense on paper is, insanely good, and I still think, on his day, Megatron is arguably the best. But it just hasn't clicked for them this season, and obviously their defense has lost some big pieces to it. So I'm going to go with the Vikings to win that. Then we've got Pittsburgh at Kansas City. Pittsburgh are 4-2. The Chiefs are 1-5. Easy. Steelers will win that. Yeah. There's been some rumours that Ben Roethlisberger might be back, but I don't think he will for this week. But I still think they'll win because the Chiefs just suck. Their offense is pathetic. Cleveland at St. Louis. The Browns are 2-4. The Rams are 2-3. I think the Rams will win that. Their defense at home, I think, will shut out Cleveland pretty much. So Rams to win that. Houston at Miami. Houston are 2-4, and the Dolphins are 2-3. Normally, I would go for Miami to win this, but I just think Houston got a win last week, although Miami did as well. And JJ Watt's been quiet for the last couple of weeks, I think. And they'll get Jadeveon Clowney back, who didn't play this past week. I just think I don't see Miami's win as being a turning point for them, and then going on a streak of wins. So I think Houston might win this. Then there's the Jets. Hate the Jets against my New England Patriots. We're at home. I don't think the Jets have a chance. So the Pats are 5-0, and the Jets are 4-1. So it's basically for first place, and both teams are. New York are a good team this year, but I think the Pats will win at home. Simple. Oakland against San Diego. Oakland are 2-3. The Chargers are 2-4. I actually think Oakland are a pretty good team this year. They pushed the Broncos close, and they've had a couple of good wins. But I think San Diego will win this because, although they didn't win in Green Bay last week, I think it showed quite a lot about their team after playing really badly against the Steelers, and where they should have won against Michael Vick as quarterback. To come back after such a devastating loss and then perform well in at Lambeau against the Packers, I think if they can just get a few things sorted out, I do think because it was only a couple of years ago they were challenging the Broncos for first place when Peyton Manning was actually good. So I do think they have got a really good team if they just sort a few things out really. They need some injured players back. But yeah, I do think they're a good team. So I'm going to go with San Diego. Dallas at New York against the Giants. We're going with the Giants just because Cowboys haven't got Tony Romo still. They might have Dez Bryant for this weekend. But even with Dez Bryant, I just don't, the Cowboys, whatever, people can say whatever they want, but Tony Romo really is the key to that team. So I think the Giants will win that. Philadelphia at Carolina. Carolina 5-0, one of the few undefeated teams left. The Eagles are 3-3. Don't need to say much about this. Panthers are going to win, I think. It was a huge win to go to Seattle and win like they did. That was huge for Carolina. And I think they'll beat the Eagles pretty comfortably at home. And then the last game, the Monday night game, is the Ravens against the Cardinals. The Ravens are 1-5, and the Cardinals are 4-2. And what a massive turnaround from last season when Baltimore were on the verge of knocking out the Pats and moving towards the AFC Championship game, and now they've got one win to their name, and they look really bad. And yeah, Arizona I think are going to win the NFC West. They're the best team in that division, better than the Seahawks, and I think they'll at home comfortably beat the Ravens. So that's my Week 7 picks. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you soon.